This video captures a tense and revealing moment inside a courtroom, where a judge is confronted by an individual attempting to represent someone named Matthew Aldridge using so-called sovereign citizen arguments. From the very beginning, the individual refuses to properly identify himself and instead claims to be an attorney of fact, a term that holds no legitimate standing in a court of law. The judge quickly clarifies that only a licensed attorney can represent a defendant in a criminal case, setting the tone for what becomes a firm and no-nonsense exchange. As the interaction unfolds, the individual tries to challenge the court's jurisdiction using pseudo-legal language and irrelevant citations. However, the judge methodically shuts down these claims, emphasizing that the court's authority comes from established constitutional and state law. Rather than entertaining the disruption, the judge calls out the arguments as a waste of time and refuses to let the proceedings be derailed. Ultimately, the judge invalidates the submitted documents, denies the motion, and sets a new trial date, making it clear that failure of the actual defendant to appear will result in serious consequences. The video serves as a clear example of how these unconventional legal tactics fail in real courtrooms, reinforcing the importance of proper legal representation and adherence to established law.
Neil Aldridge has failed to appear personally in this court for the plea day on his case, which is set for trial tomorrow. And as a result, you have no standing, sir, under what I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach to this situation. And I'm simply telling you that you do not have the right to represent Matthew Neil Aldridge. If you are, in fact, Matthew Neil Aldridge, then you need to say so and stop this nonsense, because what you're attempting to do has no legal effect. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo having to do with civil litigation. That has civil litigation in it. It is not a criminal case that you have cited. So it has no effect on this court regarding the criminal statutes of this court. This court is empowered under the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Tennessee, and by the duly elected citizens of Cheatham County to empower and enforce the laws of the state of Tennessee. And that is what I'm going to do regarding Matthew Lynn Aldridge. Mr. Aldridge is set for today to appear in court personally on what we call our last plea day before his trial date tomorrow.
Is that an article 3 trial?
To what?
Would that be an article 3 trial? A trial by jury with jury?
It would be a trial by jury. Certainly it would be. But I don't know who you are. And I don't think you have any authority if you are not Matthew Lynn Aldridge to appear before this court. And you're wasting valuable time to all of these other citizens who are here today. So when I'm talking, you stop talking. No, you will when I'm finished talking. You are wasting the court's time by doing this, and I'm just simply instructing you that if you are in fact Matthew Lynn Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case. The trial date is set for tomorrow, and unfortunately it will not go forward because of the fact that I have a conflict and I have to be in Stewart County on a civil matter. So we're going to assign a new trial date for Matthew Lynn Aldridge. All right. To Matthew Aldridge and the individual standing before me, whose name must not, because it does not cite any valid criminal statute, and therefore I'm denying whatever that might be in the way of a motion. The trial date will be July 15th. The last day for Mr. Aldridge to enter a plea or go to trial will be July the 8th. July the 8th. Now, we're going to give you a card. If you are in fact Matthew Aldridge and you're just playing games with the court regarding this nonsense that you filed, then you may get this card and you may go on about your business. If you are not Matthew Aldridge, then I would suggest to you, you relay to Mr. Aldridge that he must appear on July the 8th, or a bond revocation will take place, and his case will be will take place with him in jail, incarcerated on the 15th. That's the judgment of the court. You need to take.
To wrap up, this video highlights an important reality about how courts actually function. No matter how confident or unconventional someone's claims may sound, the legal system does not recognize made-up titles or arguments that fall outside established law. The judge remains firm, focused, and unwilling to let the courtroom turn into a platform for baseless disruptions, reinforcing that legal proceedings require structure, clarity, and respect for the rules. What stands out most is how quickly these sovereign citizen-style arguments collapse under real legal scrutiny. Instead of helping the defendant, such tactics only create delays and increase the risk of harsher consequences. By the end, the judge makes it clear that accountability cannot be avoided, and that failing to follow proper legal procedures will only make the situation worse. Overall, this moment serves as a strong reminder that the courtroom is not a place for experimentation with unsupported legal theories. Real outcomes depend on credible arguments, qualified representation, and a clear understanding of the law.